When someone says a book doesn't have a plot, they usually mean there is no linear progression, no structure upholding an impending climax, no traditional narrative or conflict, no movement. Some books are written in liminal spaces, some are a record, a closed loop, or a burst of feeling like a poem. Clarice Lispector, in her only videotaped interview near the end of her life, recalled how, when she was a child, she endeavored to write a book that never ended, an idea so profound it could be overlooked as simply the frivolous musings of a young girl. But such a concept is anything but that. Let me start with this. Just because something does not have a plot does not suggest it is meaningless. On the contrary, the chaos of something plotless only further provokes suggestion. Out of nothing, we create meaning. We hallucinate silhouettes, inventing hands to hold hours in the dark. I consider that to be the pinnacle of mankind's gifts and achievements. Camus says in The Myth of Sisyphus that we must imagine Sisyphus as happy. The myth of a man toiling endlessly in the underworld, pushing a boulder up a mountain, must know and enjoy his condition. Sisyphus imagines there is a purpose to his feat. Maybe he imagines a new purpose each time. And so what about life? The monotony and drag, isn't it our choice, all this? The power of an individual carving their name into the rock, finding a cleft in the rock to hide in, finding a reason to live at all. My life does not have a plot, and because it does not, I'm given the freedom to choose, but also the greater freedom to not know where I'm going. In Oscar Wilde's De Profundis, he observes the contradiction at the heart of individualism. People whose desire is solely for self-realization never know where they are going. They can't know. In one sense of the word, it is of course necessary, as the Greek oracle said, to know oneself. That is the first achievement of knowledge. But to recognize that the soul of man is unknowable is the ultimate achievement of wisdom. The final mystery is oneself. Because I've left my future open-ended and have not subjected myself to an ill-fitted cast, I am led by my desires. Left to myself and my tastes, I pursue anything that interests me. I am led by impulse, or some would call it intuition. I'm drawn to things, and I don't think about where they will take me because I trust that where I'm going is not a destination. The only conclusion in my story will be my death, and if so, it would be my most graceful action, my only and greatest individual achievement, something Clarice would say in her book, A Breath of Life. You could say I do nothing all day. I think a lot. I contemplate. I create. And according to Camus, that's as absurd as it gets. The very start of absurdity is knowing you are pushing the boulder up the mountain. You are here, you are doing it, and then why? And I figure the varying hackneyed modes of life to which people subscribe are but ways to alleviate that knowingness, if not remove it altogether, to relieve the knowingness of their cowardice. To exist without a plot as a thinking being is to be aware of the implications of that lack. And at the precipice, people like me, though frightened at first, certainly settle into a peace.
For the absurd man, it is not a matter of explaining and solving, but of experiencing and describing. Everything begins with lucid indifference. Describing. That is the last ambition of an absurd thought. The place of the work of art can be understood at this point. It marks both the death of an experience and its multiplication. It is a sort of monotonous and passionate repetition of the themes already orchestrated by the world. The body.
I want to be aware, and I want to be aware enough to choose. And it's ironic how through choice, I'm still left with the mystique of an ambiguous future. Individualism's greatest gift is mystery. One arrives at not knowing anything through knowing. I know I will die, but I will never know what death entails. For lunch today, I chose a morning bun from the French bakery, But where will its dense orange center lead me? Where will that sensation lead me? What will it inspire me to do for the rest of my day if I've left my day free? The point had come on the morning of my 28th birthday that my birthday didn't feel important because I treat every day like my birthday. With my individual choice, I decided that for me, beauty is the only thing I care about. I want to make beautiful works of art. Come home to my pale blue French provincial couch, my white lilies, my oak drawing table. I want a Montagnard sandwich and a park by the duck pond. If beauty isn't something I expect, it finds a way still to parade its majesty because I've taught myself to be receptive to it. I will stop everything I'm doing to look at the light that shines through my window onto my disco ball, or how the sun will make my lilies glow as if they were in a vignette in a dream. Just 2 days ago, I had all my windows open because it was warm. I was watching Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo for the first time, when halfway through, I had to stop. I noticed that it was pouring rain, but the sun was out. The sky was orange. So I brought a chair near one of the windows and sat there, with my arms folded on the sill, hot, damp air and the rare smell of petrichor pushing in through the window. There was no sound of insects, and I watched drops of rain leap from the leaves of a hibiscus bush. And all of a sudden, I felt an urge to release something. And I started to cry. It was like the kind of cry that only escapes you when someone gives you permission, when they hug you and you can't see each other's face. I cried for all my moments of happiness and all of the ones of sorrow, too. My half-protruding body lay on the sill for a long time. It's moments like that you feel someone is calling out to you through that open window. And once you've got a clear view, you notice they are trying to show you an innocence so exalted you can't help but unravel in front of it. Like you couldn't be more relieved to know that that gesture is all there is. I made the choice that my existence revolves around such moments. And my reward is that each time I experience one of them like it's the first time. Like I've never seen rain and sun at the same time, or smelled wet earth, or heard the chorus of crickets resume once the rain stopped. The beauty of life comes to me new each time, and I could never be so arrogant as to ignore that calling from my window because I think I've seen that show before. Living without certainty allows an experience like that to retain its feeling of eternity and majesty. The beautiful and idyllic originate from a place of atemporality, where our systems of management cannot elucidate them. No plot could make them fully transparent. A plotless life is one of beauty because it respects the unexpected. It respects the unknown. It respects what cannot be exacted by time and history. To dispose of systems and cliches and definition and certainty is to exist in a kind of endless loop. And yet we are delighted each time we find ourselves at the start again. I would say for Sisyphus, it's not the knowingness of what he is doing, but in that eternal underground, he forgets he has done the same action over and over. He comes to the boulder the same way, with the same amount of encouragement from himself in every iteration. There is no time to define his suffering, and for me there is no plot to encourage arrogance or placidity. Neither of us know where we are going, but we are more than happy to push on, again and again and again.